Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. For over 10 years, Dan has been helping AM 1160 listeners. With so many companies to choose from and hundreds of loan options, the mortgage process can be confusing and costly. Be sure to listen each day for Dan and learn the difference between FHA, VA, and conventional loans. You'll also learn how to negotiate lower interest rates and fees, as well as steps to buying your first home and whether refinancing makes sense. Stay tuned to find out why Chicago's top realtors are choosing Dan Frio.
Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. And I, of course, am Dan Frio. We have a guy that I work with. He's a friend of mine. He's actually an awesome guy. I'll consider him Uncle Stevey. But his name is Steve Grammarosa. I call him Stevey G. And what he does for our company, me personally, and a lot of referral sources I have, is he's a sales coach. He's a life coach. He's certified at this stuff. So as a company, we have him, and this is one of the unique things that we have, or we can offer a lot of the realtors out there, is, you guys probably are doing good, but can you always do a little bit better? We say that in our business. We say that in our personal lives. So I asked Steve to come in, and we're going to start a segment on WIND. He'll probably be in here once a month, and I want to have basically a life coaching session because all of our lives consist of some piece of our life is sales. If you're trying to get your wife to not buy that dress, you're trying to sell her off of the dress. If you want to go to a certain restaurant that nobody else wants to go to, you're selling them on that restaurant. When you're at your office, you might not be in sales, but you still have to work with people and kind of talk them into your ideas or, to get a promotion. I won't ramble on anymore. So I have a special guest today, and his name is Steve Grammarosa. Like I said, every Wednesday I'm going to have Stevey G on. He's been in the Chicagoland area most of his life. He used to have a huge mortgage company, and then he went into real estate and then other things. So I want him to, we're going to introduce him. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself and why his past is very much putting him into a great future. So, Stevey G.
Hey, Dan.
Welcome, buddy.
Thanks.
So tell everybody about, I know you. A lot of people out there listening probably know you or heard of you. Okay. You've been around a lot. But tell everybody, who is Stephen Grammarosa?
30 years in the mortgage industry, whether it goes mortgages, real estate, title, moving companies, anything that had to do with real estate. I've been involved in 30 years.
Gotcha.
Who am I? I'm a guy who's been rich twice and been broke twice, and on my way up for my third time. So that's important when it comes to coaching, real life stuff. Not sitting there giving somebody advice or just listening to them. I have real life experiences that I'll talk about and show you and help you get through your own maybe difficulties or wanting to get better or, planning your future.
See, Steve has very much a similar story to mine. I'm from a small little town in West Virginia, so those who do listen to me, that story. So I basically came from, I won't say nothing, because you never know what you don't have unless you had it. So we never had anything. We didn't have a new car and we didn't have a huge house. But, so then I was in this business for a long time, and I went from basically rags to riches and was making more money than I possibly ever imagined, similar to your story. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's just like, you get to the top. It takes a long time and a lot of effort to get there, but it seems like it's a blink of an eye. And you can lose it all. So in your story, why I wanted to call Steve in here is it's similar to mine. And then when he hit bottom, both him and myself, we found religion. I hate to say it in that perspective, but I've always believed in God. I've always prayed and went to church, but I was that typical, I won't say hypocrite, but cafeteria Christian. And then I hit bottom, and I finally just said, I need help. And so tell us the story.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. In the 80s, I had restaurants. Right out of college, I got into the restaurant business. I think I was like 20 years old. I borrowed $19,000 and bought my first pizzeria.
Sweet.
And from there on, I built that up and bought another one. And then in 1988, I decided I was going to do a full-serve restaurant, 18-seat bar, 100-seat restaurant. A year later, I ended up filing bankruptcy for nearly $475,000 back in 1989. So very, very successful throughout the 80s, and then built this restaurant. My mom was the cook, and she ended up dying she had pancreatic cancer. That was one of the reasons it didn't work. So yeah, I was bankrupt in 89, $475,000 in the hole. And, somebody told me, hey, you'd be good in the mortgage business. And, I chased a guy, who works for us now as a loan officer. He was my manager back in, 91, and got into the mortgage business and hit it off just right. And then I opened up my own company in 94. Called Chicago Funding, and we started with 3 people, and we built that up. So being broke, a few years later, just working hard, being very determined. I'm a chance taker. Got right back into business there in 93, 94, and I started with 3 guys, and we built that to 150 guys, closing $800 million a year.
That's a lot of business.
Yeah. And so 2005, we sold the company. It was a great thing. Thought I had hit it right. Made some investments that were very wrong, large investments on properties. 740 unit we bought. It didn't work out. We ended up losing it all. I had restaurants and printing companies and everything, and I was rolling. Maybe I wasn't doing the right things in life. Maybe that's why it all went away. And I did. I lost it all again. In 2010, 11, it was all gone again. But throughout my career, I've always coached people, and I probably in my lifetime have made 20 to 25 millionaires that are still doing great today in the mortgage and real estate industry. And so that's how I ended up being here and training and coaching. And then I'm a certified a business coach. So I'm helping people along like yourself and your team, Dan, to grow. And so we talk about our unique value proposition?
You betcha.
Yeah, at Parkside Lending, we bring you, value. Most of our realtors and our mortgage people coach through me. And so like Dan was saying, let's say maybe you're satisfied where you're at in your real estate career or any career. And so when you come to a coach, you determine if you want to go up, because a lot of people reach the lid. They reach a dollar amount and they don't go any further. That's where coaching comes in.
Yeah.
So things that I do is I put plans together for people. We set goals. Most people don't have goals or a plan for their life, and that's important. So we talk about that. We set that up, and then we have strategies on how to reach these goals. Go ahead.
So my thing is I went to one of your classes, and I'll be honest with you. My first thought is, it's like Iverson. Practice? Who needs practice? That was one of the things I'm like, well, I'm doing good. Can I do better? Yeah. But think about it. LeBron James has a coach. So I went to one of the sessions you put on, and there's a huge amount of value to a lot of things you have because of your life experiences.
Yeah.
I consider you Dad's advice not coming from Dad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
Dad never knows anything. I'm a dad. We're all idiots. But if you hear it from somebody else, it's like, that's pretty good.
That's good.
Okay.
So so no, you're right. So most people go, oh, I don't need coaching. I don't need advice. But listen, most of your CEOs have it.
Right.
Most of your athletes need it. It's from everybody. And so when we started, and we have somebody who works on your team that is an older middle-aged lady who said, oh, I'm not going to learn anything from Steve. I know it all. So once I started coaching her and she gave in, finally, she saw a ton of value in it. So I come from experience and from the heart, from gratitude to giving, to trying to help. I'll tell you, there's times I have a coach. I have a spiritual coach. We all know who he is, right? Yep. And I go to him with my problems, but sometimes you can't go to your wife. You can't go to your children. You can't go to your best friends. Who do you go to? That's where I come in. So there's tons of value in it. And we talk about planning, and we talk about strategies, and everybody needs to have a plan and a goal in their life.
Well, a lot of the things we talk about, or you're going to talk about in the coming episodes, is it's not something unique. And then that's no disrespect to you. You just reiterate, then you hold people accountable. That's one of the things that I realized when I went to the first session. It's like, do you do this from 9 to noon, and this from noon to 1, and this from... I might not necessarily do that, but I do 2 of the 4 things that you discussed. I know I need to do all 4, but I just don't. And I have really nobody overseeing me, so I don't do that. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to have Steve give us an outline of every week we're going to go through something. He has a 10-week course. He works with me. So this is for realtors out there. This is for everybody listening. Mm-hmm. It's a free consultation, basically. Tune in every Wednesday, and we're going to give you something. If you would, call in to 833-DAN-FRIO. leave messages. What do you want us to discuss? Because without you asking these questions or telling us the content you want us to fill in, we don't know what to do. We're going to go through those segments. But if we can give real life examples of, hey, Mary from Oakbrook called and she said this, and we can address those. Mary, you're not the only person with that question. You know, there's probably thousands of people out there with that exact question. So that's, again, why I asked Steven here is to be not only a sales coach. And again, sales is a big part of our lives, no matter what we do. Even if you're just in a labor job, there's sales in there somewhere. You got to talk to your boss and you got to sell him on why you're the best. So that's what we're going to talk about in the coming segments. The next segment as soon as we come back, and then every week we're going to have life coaching with Stevie G. And again, please give us a call. Let us know what you want to talk about. So this segment is, I just want to conclude just thanking some of the sponsors. They're the ones that allow me to do this. Without them, I couldn't do this on my own. So I'm going to start at the top. Everybody knows, and I have Dottie on here once a month. Dottie Dose, she's with Echo Home Inspections. Dottie's phenomenal. If you're looking to buy a house or you bought a house and you just want to have somebody go through that property and just with a fine-tooth comb and let you know, is there anything that I missed, or when I'm buying this property, is there anything I should be concerned about? Stuart Ramirez, he's with E-Signature Realty. Stuart is probably my number one go-to realtor. He has offices throughout the Chicagoland area. He can cover, if you speak English, if you speak Spanish, no matter what, he'll help you buy, he'll help you sell, he'll help you in all aspects of the business, real estate business. And next is Pat Noon. Pat was on earlier in the show. Pat is our tax person, and tax time's coming around the corner, and you're going to need some advice. Hopefully you need advice, and if you aren't getting advice, you should. His slogan is, get the IRS off your ASS. Don't go away. We'll be right back.